We're gonna record it.
Okay. Hello.
There's no.
Going to.
A large mushroom piece.
Oh no.
Susan Marie.
Hello, everyone. Gonna wait till people come on here, and then I'll start talking. Had a lot of issues trying to get YouTube up and running, so. Going to talk about higher self hypnosis and personal boundaries today, answer your questions. And I have my daughter here, Cherish. She's here. She's my spiritual bug. So, hi, underwater activist. Just starting to go live here. Me and my girl, Cherish. We're going to talk about today. I'll answer any questions you guys have about higher self hypnosis, past life regression, life in between lives regression. And also, I wanted to touch on personal boundaries and people pleasing. So, there we go. So, let me know what kind of questions you guys have about anything regarding higher self hypnosis. Hi, Pyra. Cherish, say hi to her.
Hi.
Yay. Hi, guys. Okay, anything about higher self hypnosis? What is it like to connect to your higher self? First, let's start off with what is your higher self until some questions come in. What is your higher self? Your higher self is you, it's the real you. It's the you without the trauma and the drama and the beliefs and all of the limits and blocks. I think your YouTube isn't streaming. Yeah, I actually had to make a whole brand new Pyro. I had to make a whole new YouTube live. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know. I messed up. So I am on YouTube. It's a worse video because the lighting's not as great. But hi, YouTube. But it's here. So I am on YouTube now. It was just a different link. So anyway, so your higher self is the real you. I like to say it's like your GPS in the sky. So technically, we've never left the spirit realm. And if you listen to channelers like Bashar, if you listen to one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Bentinho Massaro, and his name, in case you're looking for it, is Bentinho, Bentinho Massaro. They all teach, and if you listen to a lot of channelers, we have never left the spirit realm. All of this here that feels so real is not real. It's an illusion, and we just think that we're here, and it feels really real because we go through the veil of forgetfulness. We go through the veil of forgetfulness, and we really believe that we're here. But it's basically our real self, our spirit soul self in the non-physical realm, basically wearing virtual reality glasses. And what happens when they wear virtual reality glasses is then you have an avatar that you're maneuvering around and challenging and learning lessons and things like that. So you, me, we're all avatars here in this simulation or this illusion. And that can be really hard for a lot of people to accept. My shirt keeps acting weird. That can be hard for a lot of people to accept because this feels so real. So if this is the first time you're ever hearing something like that and you just don't want to accept that, no one says you have to. There's no way that you have to believe. You can believe any way that you want, anything that you want, and you get to live in that reality because as a simulation, we get to create our own reality with our own beliefs, with our own judgments, with our own opinions, with our own blocks, with our own limits. We get to create all of it on our own. So where do we want to go from here? What do you want to say about all that? This is my daughter, Cherish, and she's far and above anything that I know spiritually. She talks to her, she's 16. She talks to her spirit team all the time. And let's hear from a 16-year-old. What do you think about reality and this being a simulation and all that? What do you think?
We're all made of source. We are all versions of source or creator or God or Allah or whatever name you want to use to experience figuring out what existence is and what our purpose is as existence and life and creation. And well, there's a lot of just going through it, learning through it, and part of that is all these different beliefs and religions and planets.
Okay, keep going. Sorry, we had an interruption. There was a
And
call came through.
yeah, and there's all these different versions and all these different symbols and realities and parts of us that we are just parts of existence. And so the most important thing on earth that we've come here to learn really is just that we're safe to kind of step out of the lower energies and just follow the other planets that have already ascended higher. And right now it's very dualistic, very low, very manhandling, and it'll become more aware and more in flow with the higher realizations of source through us. So like what we learn is what source is learning as us, and we just forget that for the sake of fun, I think. And it's a beautiful experience. And on earth there doesn't seem to be a lot of beautiful experiences. People don't think it's that great. It's like, what's even the purpose? It's a lot of stress and a lot of time management. And a lot of people you can see online that you don't feel it's even a reality or a possibility for you. They step out of that. They go live in the woods and they go dance all the time, and they don't seem like they pay bills or work. And that's honestly, I think a lot of people are going to go that way. That's how I would live all day. If I could, but it's honestly just they're equal parts of source, just figuring itself out. But through it, it's not going to be forever. It's just a temporary, seasonal, lower part to get to the higher part, like steps, and we're kind of on a lower step right now, but we're gradually going up and up and up. And a big lesson is honestly just learning that you're worthy as existing as who you are, that you're here to live, and you're not here to accomplish some of the more surface and fake and stressful goals that you think you are, but it's really always just an inner goal of learning existence, learning who you are. And you're not going to learn who you are through doubt or through fear or through trying to prove anything to anybody. That's like, all those three things are the three biggest and thickest layers of forgetting who you are. So yeah, through learning all these experiences, you just have to have faith and trust and really come back inside and learn the real purpose of why you were chosen by source to be who you are, to have your voice, your face, your life, everybody around you, and what they teach you, what they bring you. There's a lot of beauty in it, but you have to kind of uncover some of the doubt and regret, resentment, fear, all of that in order to see that.
Yeah.
There's a lot more, but
Well, something that I mentioned, Bentinho Massaro, I've been following him for years. He's an incredibly enlightened spiritual teacher. Amazing. We were listening to him just a little bit ago in the car, but he said, you're only here. You came and incarnated here for your purpose. So if you're not trying to find out what your purpose is and living your purpose and doing what you came here to do, then what are you doing? Like, why are you here? So, and how do you find your purpose? And I see a lot of questions come in, so I'm excited. We're going to answer them. But how do you find your purpose is the same thing. He also says, follow the breadcrumb trail of excitement. And so who is that teacher? Bentinho Massaro. It's Bentinho Massaro.
Wait, you might want to
He's
spell
Dutch.
it. You might want to spell it again.
Yeah, Bentinho, Bentinho Massaro.
Yeah. You'll find him.
So
he's blonde.
Yeah. he says and Bashar basically says the same thing too, the channeler Bashar, Daryl. He says, follow the breadcrumb trail of excitement, because that is what is going to lead you to your purpose. And it doesn't mean that you're going to find your purpose tomorrow or the next day, but it's going to bring you closer rather than looping around in the same limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, dramas, and traumas that you find yourself in living in this 3D world, finding your purpose is that's what brings you joy. So if something brings you joy, or like Bashar, the channeler Bashar says, if you don't know who he is, give me one sec. What he says is if you have a choice between doing two things, quitting my job or keeping my job and starting my own business, which one sparks more joy? Take the fear out of it, eliminate the fear. Which one brings you more joy? Which one sparks more joy? Then do that one. And always choose the one that brings you the most joy. And that's following the breadcrumb trail of excitement. Oh, thank you for the hand heart, Catherine. Hey, Catherine's here.
Oh, Catherine!
Cherish is so excited. Catherine is one of my students that mentors with me to learn higher self-hypnosis, and she has taken my Theta, THETA, Theta Healing classes, and wow, she has come a long way and gotten so much growth and learning and understanding, and she's a different person. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Can I say something real quick?
Hi, Linda. Linda said it's so lovely to see you and your daughter, Cherish, who's speaking so calmly and full of peace. So yeah, Cherish wants to say something now about purpose. So go ahead.
Oh,
Nice and loud.
I was kind of adding to what she said. How sometimes what you feel excited about is kind of a disguise, and like she said, it is more of a breadcrumb trail rather than you just walk in and the whole buffet is already out. Like, if you feel excited to get like candy or dessert or to watch something or to go somewhere or like ride a motorcycle, like that's not leading you to your purpose maybe, but it's getting closer and closer. So you might be excited about something that's unhealthy for you, but maybe your mom made that when you were little, or something similar, or like when you were sick you had that, or the best family memory was with that in the room and it clicked in your brain, and that's why it brings you excitement. And what you really feel excited about and what you remember is the feeling of home, the feeling of acceptance and family, love and nurturing. It may not always be what you think it is, so you can't just kind of skip through and expect it all to fall into your eyes. You have to really let yourself figure it out through a long-lasting devotion to your purpose and figuring it out. Like, it's not easy, but it's the best kind of hard that you would never want to give up once you're already in it and used to it. So,
Oh my gosh, did you guys hear her? She said it's the best kind of hard. It's not easy. Finding your purpose, it's not easy, but it's the best kind of hard you would never want to give up. I'm gonna coin that like for you. That's amazing. Wow. Who thinks she's like awesome and so wise? Yeah, right, Catherine? So wise. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to go up because there were a couple questions up here. Mother and daughter. Thank you. Yeah. Let me see. She said up here, I am Heather. I'm really proud of her as a mother. That yes, she's an old soul. I think the first question was Marta, and I think Marta said, what do you think about I think you said the shutdown of the internet and the phone, if it's possible? I think that's what you're asking about, Marta, my Swedish friend. So, hey, son. But yeah, I felt like it was intuitively. I don't watch the news. I don't watch media or anything like that, but I couldn't help but hear about the internet, the cell phones going down. I personally think it's all being done internally. I don't think there's like any, Chinese hackers doing this stuff or anything like that. But that's just my intuition telling me that. And I feel like there's a couple of different views. So some people will believe what the media is telling you. There's going to be a solar flare or the Chinese are hacking us. And then others say that, more like on the conspiracy side, others say, okay,
I'm just fixing it.
that we're going to have 10 days of darkness to try and wake up even more people. And that it's kind of like to give everyone kind of a shock and a jolt, kind of like what the big bad sickness that started in 2020 did. I don't want to say the word because of censoring, but it could be to do the same thing. I personally don't know. I haven't really asked a whole lot about it. Do I prepare? Do I have food and extra things like that and supplies? Yes, I've been a lifelong, not necessarily like going to the deep end prepper or anything like that, but I have always had my whole adult life emergency food supply. That's just how I live. That's just how I am. I've always felt the need to do that. And when I did a higher self hypnosis session, this was probably about a year ago, her higher self said that everyone should be having extra food and extra supplies in their house because we just never know which way the timeline is going to go. And the whole agenda on this planet is to keep us in fear. Because if those in control of this planet, the reptilian race, if those in control on the planet can keep us in fear, it's a low frequency energy and they feed off of. So just think Monsters Inc. As soon as that animated movie came out years ago, I instantly intuitively knew this was based on something real. And that was long before I was awake spiritually, but I just knew it was based on something real and that there was a lot of truth to that. And now I see it, there totally is. After doing over 1,000 higher self hypnosis sessions with clients and hearing everything I do about the dark agenda for planet Earth and how they're siphoning our energy, I 100% absolutely believe it. It's very similar to the Monsters Inc. thing where they're siphoning our energy. It's called Loosh, Loosh, and they literally feed off of it. And so keeping us in fear, not only that, but keeping us tethered to the matrix is what they want. They don't want us all ascending and waking up. And if we're constantly living in fear, it's hard for us to follow and find our purpose. And it's hard for us to wake up because we're just worried about, oh my gosh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And we're fighting with each other and we're arguing with each other and we're getting caught up in duality, which is the you versus me and the right versus wrong and this president versus that president. And instead of unity and oneness and love, which is where planet Earth is headed, is a planet of unity and oneness. So like a lot of our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters, their planets have evolved and they've gone into what's called 5D, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, 7, 8, 9, 13. So they are more unity consciousness, oneness consciousness. And so, but they were able to get past duality. They were able to get past and see through the fear and go beyond it, to transcend above it. And so we do that and we learn that by focus. It doesn't just fall on our head and then we're like, oh, I'm going to be unity consciousness. No, you actually have to choose that every single day. And it's a choice what you're going to think because no one else can go in your mind and make you think any certain way. You are the only one that can choose your thoughts, and you're either going to choose higher frequency thoughts of kindness and forgiveness and love, or you're going to choose to go with kind of what's around you in the collective consciousness, which is fear and lack and disbelief and doubt. So whatever happened with the internet or whatever might happen with the internet and the phones and all of that, I mean, I say you shouldn't have any fear about it. Just be as prepared as you can be. That's just my opinion. Be as prepared as you can be. And then stay in the highest frequency that you can. Because again, as I started saying in the very beginning of this is all a simulation that we're in. We're actually not really here. And again, that might be super hard for a lot of people to grasp or even accept. And you don't have to believe it. It's totally fine. But it's something you can look into. And now the seed has been planted at least, and you can ask your spirit team about it. And another question was, how can you get closer to your spirit team?
Oh yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, I'll let Cherish answer that one. She asked, how can you get closer to your spirit team?
I mean, honestly, whatever you ask for is gonna, for some reason, pop into your head as that question for a reason, and you'll always get an answer one way or another in the particular way that is made for you. So some people will completely just change their lives and go through an amazing experience. And some people will have maybe a less impactful experience, but like hear from them all the time or notice physical signs. But honestly, it's just about trusting them and asking, and once again the devotion and walking to that breadcrumb, to the next breadcrumb the whole time. I mean, you can just walk and be like, I don't care about the breadcrumbs, I'm just gonna go to the place. But one way or another you have to choose to find the next one. So just ask, talk to them, and get more and more comfortable with it, and start meditating and
Meditating is a huge way. When I do my higher
yeah.
self hypnosis sessions, a question that a lot of people like to ask is, what can I do to get closer to my spirit team and hear them on a more regular basis? And literally everyone's higher self says meditate, because what you're doing when you meditate, or like if you do a higher self hypnosis session, it's the same thing. So we totally set aside the ego and you get into a theta brainwave state, which everyone goes into a theta brainwave state. It's a slower brainwave state than when you're awake and interacting and all of that. You go through a theta brainwave state on your way to delta, which is sleep. And so you do it automatically. So it's nothing weird or scary or odd or anything like that. But consciously, purposely going into a theta, slower theta brainwave state, it relaxes the ego mind. It kind of like almost like puts it to sleep, lets it take a nap while you're meditating. If, as long as you stay out of your head, right? You don't bring your thoughts back and be like, oh, I got to think about this and I got to do this. You're literally just let go and relax. And it takes practice for some people. They might have to practice a lot, but you can find a lot of good meditations on YouTube. I have a really good one on, a couple good ones on my YouTube channel, Woke Lightworker. But practicing meditating, and then another thing that higher selves say a lot is spending time in nature. Like really spending time in nature and being away from all of the brainwaves of everyone else, and just being in touch with the trees and the plants and the animals that are out there, and really being there, really focusing. Like, don't be on your phone when you're hiking. You know what I mean? Just really being in nature and talking to your spirit team. You're going to be able to start hearing them. And another big thing is that I have personally found, and that's why I teach classes on healing trauma and eliminating, beliefs that no longer serve you, is doing your healing work, meaning looking at what kind of trapped emotions you're holding. Are you holding anger, unforgiveness, anything like that? And you want to learn how to root those out. Sometimes you need a little help. You can find lots of resources and books and everything like that. I teach something called Theta Healing, which is probably the most incredible, powerful, right, way that you could learn how to get rid of belief systems that you have, pull limiting beliefs, heal yourself emotionally, mentally, physically.
But that, along with visualization and energy cleansing and energy transforming with the theta healing, so you dig out what you don't need, and visualization is probably the first or second best way to create. So inside of you and in your physical surroundings, but more so inside of you. So in the theta healing, yeah, and asking and meditating, but that's also meditating along with it, just choosing to completely, seriously, phones and electronics are such a big blocker. Like it's not just a trend thinking that they're a blocker. It's a real thing. They're a serious blocker. And every time I kind of like, no, it's not. No. And then I realized a day later, oh my gosh, yes, it is. Yesterday, I didn't feel me at all because I was on my phone, or it was just next to me. Like, it's seriously a blocker. And so yeah, meditating and visualizing and choosing to energy clear and just getting more and more comfortable with that. You're not perfect on the first try at something, but you get more and more used to it. And then 10 years go by, and all of a sudden, I became a master at this, and I didn't even realize I was headed there. And I mean, it's not like you're becoming a master at something foreign. It's more like coming back home to yourself and home to your true purpose. And it's the easiest thing ever as you start to just remember unraveling the distant persona of what you've kind of cultivated on top of yourself.
So Heather said, Cherish, how did you get to know your spirit guides?
I got to know my spirit guides because, well, all along it's who I was meant to be, but I didn't really know that. And I was very normal and very
Normal.
and very normal and very deep in low negative energy and very miserable, and I had fun a lot of the time. And then it started to collapse on top of me, my choices and my environment, and it was so low that I was just suffocating, and everyone started turning on me, my best friends, the whole school, my environment and my resources, and my phone got taken away for months so that I could connect back to myself. And inside and out, my body too, my choices with my body started collapsing on me. My skin started just kind of rotting, and I started to look like I was 30, some people would tell me, because of how I would keep makeup on for weeks on end and not wash it off, and all of these things just collapsed.
She was
on top
making a
of me.
lot of
Yeah.
bad choices.
And so then it got to the point where it was kind of, it's just gonna fail, or you're gonna break free of it and become basically a phoenix that rises from the ashes. And I went that way because it was where I was meant to be all along. So I started hearing voices, and I started noticing the sun rays coming in my room, and all of a sudden I just felt like there was something there. And then I started hearing voices, and they started saying that I should say this, or I should notice this in a person's physical behavior, or I should go this way, or I need to remember this, or something like that. And I started to feel the trees around me bit by bit more, and I started to feel like I was betraying my innocence and my childlike persona. And I started to notice in the mirror that I didn't look like me at all, and I didn't even know what I was supposed to look like. And I started noticing that I should actually just appreciate what I was made to look like, what I was made to feel like, and what I all along actually needed, that I completely deprived myself off of for what? For nothing. And so then I started hearing people's thoughts, and then they would say the exact thing that would correlate with their thoughts. And it wasn't like my choice. So once again, honestly, no matter what you ask or what you think, it's never really your choice. I think it's supposed to be done soon. It's never really your choice. It's all along your purpose, but also you wanting, oh, I think I should go this way. That's also your purpose, you know? So don't ever think you're trying to force something, because you're not really ever. And the best thing to do is just to let go, because when that started happening, I was forcing, this doesn't make sense, everyone's gonna think I'm weird, I'm acting crazy, oh my gosh, I can't even think straight, I don't know what's going on, I hear oh my gosh, what's going on, I'm crazy, I don't know what's going on. And I just started resisting, like, no, I can't do this, I can't say that. And it was so stressful that I eventually just had to let everything go. And that's when my life started to reveal itself to me, what my whole purpose was, which is to teach all of humanity. And it's a big deal, you know, but it doesn't feel like a big deal, because it's just who I was made to be all along. But the more I resisted, the bigger a deal it felt. So yeah, and then from then on, I dropped out of school, and
Was she homeschooled?
Yeah, I heard you say something like that. I was like, should I say?
She didn't drop out of school.
Yeah.
She homeschools. Well, the reason she homeschools, in case anyone wants to know, can I tell why?
Yeah, I got bullied at a school.
She got bullied really bad at school.
And it's when I started
and she was
voices.
jumped in the bathroom by other girls.
Yeah.
And beaten up.
Wait, let me say it. So one day, I mean, it was building up more and more. At first, I didn't really hear voices. It was just silent. It was a knowing. It was more just I felt it kind of pulling me a little bit, and it was very, very gradual. It was only a few weeks, but it felt like months. Like it was very gradual, and then eventually I started hearing voices when I needed to protect myself because people were after me around school. And I would hear, they're coming this way. And I would freak out, like, no, 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 they're not, they're not, they're not. What if I go that way? And they would come that way. So I needed to go around the staircase and I would hear them literally searching for me. And so, yes, I did get jumped and I did get bullied out of school by my own group of best friends, and they roped in literally half the school and literally half the town like it was a movie. And like, you didn't see that part because you're a mom, but like, yeah, they were all. And it's because I acted so strange, and it was literally just because I was in a constant channel state, and along with being high all the time. So those two combined, it just like made me act weird and kind of out of it. I couldn't talk because I didn't know what was going on. And so I I got jumped, and then within the days later, that they proved to me over and over and over that we're gonna protect you. We're
Who, when
telling
you
the
say
truth.
they, you mean your spirit team?
Yeah,
Okay.
my angels, my team, my tribe. I like to call them my tribe, and yeah. So, and then eventually there was one day where they were coming down the hall, and I didn't know, and they told me. And then on this end of my site, there was a door, and it looked like it was like the brightest white sun was coming through it. And over here was the group, and they were set on, I felt it, like they just wanted to rough me up. Like you could just feel it that they were going to. And I had two choices, and everything just kind of blurred out, and I knew I need to walk out that door and never come back. And I didn't know what was going to happen, but I did. And then that day I started kind of seeing like third eye vision, um, possibilities and dimensional visions. And it was really strange. And then I went home and I just didn't even want to talk. And every time that I would be really connected, like the more connected I am, the less I want to talk, the less I just feel like I need to say something because I'm just being. And I just didn't talk at all at night. And I just knew like my life is, yeah, it's never going to be the same. I know who I am now, but I don't know who I am. And yeah, so every day from then on, I just spent all day and all night learning and crying and crying and crying and bawling and remembering trauma from childhood. And it was constant sitting down or standing up, looking in the mirror and looking at every part of my body and seeing it as me, as here. There's no avoiding it, there's no running from it, there's no trying to change it. It's here. And this is what you need to realize, that you're you. And then once you actually fully become one with who you are and accept it, and it may take days, weeks, or months, or years, but then you do, then you can start traveling along the trail as you. Because now, if you need to pick up something, you won't think, I should have a different hand to pick it up. You know it's your hand, and you can move across your journey with full confidence. And confidence is just trust in home. Home, like I see it as like a puppet master pulling the strings on you. And it's fun for the puppet master, but a part of the fun that we're experiencing is awakening as light beings or as angels. I don't know, I don't really like light beings. Angels or masters or yeah, angels. And so honestly, a lot of it is just letting go and realizing that everything you hear and see is just BS and it's not even real. And remembering that you're here for something and choosing to just meditate constantly, look in the mirror. Like that was the most important key to me. And I started out looking in the mirror. And because everyone has insecurities, but that shouldn't even be a thing. Insecurities, it's like it's mind blowing to me now that we even have insecurities, because how can we be insecure? Like, why do we need to look different? For who? We're just a body. We're a human body, and the first thing that comes to your mind is shows and magazines and pictures that are edited, and that's not you though. This is you. You're living life. You're seeing, you're breathing, and there's a lot more you can enjoy when you choose to accept that you are here to enjoy it. And everyone's life is different, but it's easier said than done. It takes effort and devotion and triumph through your physical circumstances. And not everyone's life will just kind of force it for them, so you may have to choose it. But when you do, your life is probably gradually never going to be the same, and your friends are not going to be your friends anymore, your coworkers aren't going to be your coworkers anymore, you're not going to have the same job. Like, most likely, if you really have true devotion to finding yourself, your life is going to change, because they loved the old you and you're going to become a new you, so they won't really.
You won't fit in.
Yeah, you won't fit in. You won't fit into your life that was made for the old you. And it's kind of like every measure, like in music, every measure, every day, every hour is made for that you, but then the next moment is a new you. So that measure may have different people or different lessons. So that's why does this keep happening to me? Why did every relationship I get in, they cheat on me? I've heard people's stories where every single relationship from the time they're 13 to their 40s, they cheat on them. It's a lesson, and it may not be the most obvious one, but I mean, it's always accessible to you. So you just have to ask and trust and listen and meditate, look in the mirror, and force yourself to just sit there, even if it takes hours, and just love your body. See it, see you. Trust yourself, trust your purpose. Ask them, talk to them, even if you don't hear anything yet. Just talk to them constantly. Trust what you say. Don't judge yourself for your opinions. Don't judge yourself for your perception or what you ask. Don't think you're greedy. Just trust that you're more capable of a wiser and more fulfilling purpose than you think. And just like, you can do it. It's just meditation and listening and trusting and thinking and just trusting. I just keep thinking,
Yeah.
just trusting.
Well, another thing that I did, though, to hear from my spirit team when I was early in my spiritual journey was I just kept asking for my spirit team to scream so loud in my ears that there was no way that I could miss them. And I just set that intention every single day. And I said, scream so loud that I cannot miss you. And I literally would be begging them, like, I just want to hear you. And then I learned later on from my spirit team, when I was able to start hearing from them clearly, just like if it was a person standing next to me, they told me that the reason I couldn't hear from them clearly before was because I had so much trauma, so much doubt, so much anger, so much resentment. Thank you, Diane, for the roses. Thank you. That I had too much stuff blocking me. It was like they said the veil between the spirit and the physical. It's literally a veil. It's really thin, like a veil. But they told me that mine was black. And so it made it difficult to see through, even though it was really thin, because I had just so much junk. And so it's, how do you learn how to get rid of the junk? And so one of the ways that I do it and help people do it is by helping them talk to their higher self. They connect to their higher self under hypnosis, and they get to get all the questions that they want to ask. Like, am I holding anger? And how do I get rid of it? And what are the lessons? Why did I create it? And how come I can't get over this anger with my mom or my dad or whatever it is? And helping you move forward. And of course, your higher self also tells you what you planned for your purpose to be. So that's an easy way to uncover what your purpose is. So you can do that, or you can, talk to your spirit team and uncover your purpose. It took me years of following my joy, which led me to my purpose. I didn't know for years. I was chasing my purpose for years and years and years.
Can I say something?
Yeah, say something.
And when you said I can't get over this anger with my mom or with my dad, like, it just reminded me that like half of what I needed to get over was a fear that I was going to be abandoned by her, or And like all of it was complete feeling of unsafety, and I didn't remember that that's what it was. I had no idea that that's what it was. I thought I was just a person, you know. We all have emotions, we all have these stories, but it's honestly just a lot of layers of unnecessary drama, and you don't, like, you really don't know until you're on the other side of it and you look back, and you always think that you look back and you're like, oh, why did I do that? It's honestly like that with your whole life. Once you have a spiritual awakening and you choose to follow that spiritual awakening and choose to own it and just let it completely fill you, you realize, I was just angry, I was just sad, I was just afraid, I was just doubtful the whole time, and I can't believe it, like, oh my gosh. And a big part of, like, a lot of people's dramatic stories that they live by is a feeling of unsafety and a feeling of uncertainty about your trust for home, and that manifests as symbols of your mother or your friends or your brother or your daughter or your son or your coworker. And then you're angry because anger is there to protect you, and you're protecting yourself from possibly being betrayed or abandoned or left or hurt or harmed or violated. Like, it's a lot about, like, being violated emotionally and mentally.
Thank you, Jay Martinez, for the roses.
And then physically you feel like it, because physically it's just a symbol for your emotional existence. So physically you start to just become something, and maybe, you know, someone walks like this, or like with a angry step because they felt so unsafe as a child. Like, I knew someone who always walked like that, like very angrily, like they were just ready to fight someone. And you know, he wasn't, he was nice, but he was abused as a kid and constantly physically and mentally abused and manipulated left and right, that he couldn't even just be safe as a little child. And people don't think that that correlates, but it always does. We're just a brain that's taught 3 + 3 = 6. I'm not safe, I'm not safe, and then you learn that and you live by that. So I mean, a big, and like, yeah, you can learn that in hypnosis, definitely, that that you just have to energetically and intentionally. Oh, I think she's like asking.
That's okay. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Emotionally and energetically just see, and energy work, like, you just practice and practice and practice, but a big part of it is physically crying, physically screaming, especially crying. And you don't have to force yourself to cry, but you just have to let yourself actually go through it, and then not like hesitate, like, oh, I need to be like a story, like, oh, stop crying and stop myself and keep going with my work. No, like, just let go of what you think you should be doing and just let yourself cry, let yourself go through the thoughts and the memories and the emotions and the feelings of what you do deserve, because what you do feel like you need is just a surface representation of what you all along come from: home, safety, worthiness, home, just existence. And so, yeah, that anger is just feelings of unsafety, and you just need to cry and energy clear and energy visualize it just coming out of you and coming out of you, and go layer by layer.
Thank you, Orbit Girl, for the heart puffs.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, just uncovering layer by layer by layer until you get to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Orbit Girl had a question: how to overcome the downs when we come from being high spiritually? How do you deal with the violence in the world? I'm going to start with that one, and then if you want to take it.
Okay.
So, okay, it's interesting that you ask about that, because I actually had a friend call me today, and she wanted to ask if I would, because I love writing meditations, I love making and recording meditations. And she asked, her big cause that she really is passionate about is how the Bureau of Land Management is, I guess, I don't follow this, but she said they are killing and driving out and rounding up all the wild Mustangs on public land, and they're being tortured and tormented and all this stuff. And so she said she wanted me to write and record a meditation for all these people who are suffering as a result of this happening to these animals. They're fighting so hard for these animals, and they're just being ignored, and Bureau of Land Management, the BLM, is not listening and they don't care. They don't care about these animals. And as she was talking to me, her voice got louder and faster and angrier. And I said, whoa, 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 wait a minute. You're my friend. I'm going to talk to you like my friend, and I'm going to talk to you like I would talk to one of my clients. But you're my friend, so I'm going to be honest with you. And I told her what I noticed about her voice. And so this goes with any violence, okay? With any type of violence in the world. When we look out at anything like that, we are connecting our energy to that. So the solution is you have to detach, completely detach from that. And I told her, I said, you need to disconnect from the energy of all of that, with what is going on with the Mustang. Unless you personally are the answer to curing that problem, you have to detach, because it's not your purpose then if you don't have the resources or the means or the way to solve that problem. It's not your purpose.
And sometimes you might feel guilty for that, detaching from it, but it's one thing to be like aggressive and not have any compassion, but it's another thing to just detach because you know that it's made for you. It's right. You know, it's not necessary to feed into it.
Yeah, because that's what you're doing. You're feeding into it. And so I've had this come up so many times in higher self hypnosis sessions where people are upset about the violence against animals or violence of war that's not in their country, or, you know, some kind of violence that's happening and going on. And like I told my friend today, I said, all you're doing is feeding negativity into that situation. You're not helping, because when the higher selves have said the animals would like people to step back, unless you are an animal rescuer or someone who can actually do something about it, that's different. That's part of your purpose. But if you're just observing this violence, observing these things, and getting in a low frequency energy about it, and getting angry or upset or in fear or worried or anxious or any of those low frequency emotions, all you're doing is feeding into that collective consciousness and feeding low energy into it. You're not helping it at all. And so it's complete detachment. Now, what can you do to combat it? That's the question. So I don't want to present just the problem without the solution. The thing you can do to help in any violent situation is work on yourself. And that might sound weird or counterintuitive, but you are a frequency. Every one of us vibrates at a frequency. And so that's why the media constantly bombards us with fearful news and fearful thoughts and fearful ideas and war and famine and this and this and this, is to keep our frequency low, because we're all like rods feeding up into a collective consciousness. And is yours feeding up low frequency, or is yours feeding up high frequency energy to the collective? Imagine it's like a big giant cloud over the planet. And what are you feeding into that big giant cloud that's then the cloud over all of us? Are you feeding in love and joy and peace and oneness and authenticity and unity and high frequency emotions and gratitude? Or are you feeding in fear and doubt and worry and anxiety and disbelief and sadness and depression? What are you feeding into it? Because that's adding to the low frequency that permeates the entire planet. So by doing your healing work, by disconnecting from all of that fear and focusing on your joy and what brings you the most joy, despite what anyone else is doing, it's not your journey. Despite what anyone else is doing, what are you focusing on? And if you're focusing on that, then you're being like a conductor of positive energy up to the collective. And that's how you help raise the vibration of the planet. So like the work that I do, I love it because it helps people get out and root out trapped emotions. It helps them find their joy. It helps them find out, why am I depressed? Why can't I get over this trauma or that trauma? because it helps pull it out and root it out so that they can allow more love in. And we do a lot of downloads too, like downloading creators' definition of joy or peace or love into them so that they know what it's like and what it feels like. And by that, it's raising their frequency, which feeds into the frequency of the entire planet. So that's how you can stop getting down, by letting things outside of you affect you, Orbit Girl. Don't let them affect you. It's a conscious decision. You are choosing to participate in that. No one is making you watch those news stories. No one is making you have that suffering energy. Suffering is a choice. It's always a choice. No one is making you suffer at all. So you have to understand that from this point forward, if you're suffering, it's because you're making the choice to suffer, because you can take your thoughts and shift them to something else. You might experience grief for a while if something tragic happens to you personally, but you don't need to feel grief over other people's things. That's not your thing.
Yeah.
That's not your journey. If it's your purpose and it's something you're passionate about and you want to go rescue animals, then absolutely. But do it with joy and do it with love, because that's helping the animals. Your feelings of sadness and grief over what's happening to them is not helping them. Higher selves have said it's feeding into the low frequency energy and it's causing the opposite
Yeah.
to happen.
Just because
The same with war.
Yeah, just because it like may be surrounded by you all the time, even if it's hard, it is possible to just consistently choose to shield yourself from the surrounding of the seemingly just overpowering negativity. And it's overpowering because it's so low that it just tries to suck you in, because it knows you're just naturally going to light. So that's why horror movies and drama movies are just the more appealing instead of a light romance or comedy movie most of the time, or like the news. Yeah, I mean, it's sucking you in, but you just have to consistently trust that you feel how you do because it's a part of who you are, and appreciate it for what it is, but not let it suck you in constantly, and just shield yourself and consistently energy transform and clear yourself and choose that you are of the light life, and you don't have to become the darkness that tries to suck you in.
Yeah. So Diane wanted to know if the hypnosis that I do works online. Yeah, all my sessions are done online. You guys can actually go to my YouTube channel, Woke Lightworker, and watch some sessions that some clients have given me permission to post. They're on my YouTube channel. I have some on my Patreon channel. In my bio, there's a link for all of these things, but you can actually watch them and listen to them channel their higher self. Listen to their higher self talk. It's life changing. It's life changing. Hi, Christopher. How are you? He said hi. Theta Healing. Maggie's on here. Cherish says hi. Yes, Theta Healing is amazing. Maggie is just finished the second. There's 4 classes that I teach, and they're the first 4 basic ones, so you can learn this incredible stuff. And by the way, if you want to go to my website, wokelightworker.com, I have a video on there under my Theta Healing classes tab. And it's a webinar I did for 30 minutes. You can learn all about Theta Healing and how it will literally change your life. You talk about raising your frequency to help raise the vibration of the planet. Theta Healing, like totally. It will teach you how to do that so thoroughly. Cherish did Theta Healing after she went through her difficult, hard time.
Oh,
It was toward the end.
it was actually a vessel for source wanting to open me up to it. I did Theta Healing right before I started hearing and seeing all that I did. It was what I needed, because Theta Healing is all about uncovering all the roots of the attachment to all the lower energies and the fears, and it's all about beliefs. Like, I don't want to do this, and it's deep rooted in because this happened to me as a child that I don't remember, and it limits you in life. So it's one of the most important techniques, honestly, a form of the most important technique, in my opinion, and in her opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, channeled straight from source. Diana Steibel channeled straight from source and works directly with creator. Every mentor like works directly with creator. It's all about just direct creator pulling the beliefs. So uncovering the layers. And so yeah, I did that, and then I didn't even remember I did it, and that's when I started hearing. They wanted to clear it out so I could be accessible to hear it. So Theta Healing is
So that's when she
important.
really started hearing from her team, her spirit team. When we say team, it's spirit team.
It was a way of opening me up. Definitely. And Vienna said that she was told it was made for the masters. So it's a necessity to be able to be unleashed and uncovered by the fake standards that you've grown up to learn, and reteach yourself.
Yeah. And then Jay Martinez said, is there a way to communicate to our higher self without hypnosis? Yeah, your higher self is you. So again, it really is learning how to hear from your entire spirit team. When I say spirit team, I'm talking about your higher self, your guides, your angels. By healing yourself, removing the trauma and the layers, it's just layers that we've put on ourselves, our belief systems, just layers of all of this junk that we put on ourselves, and just setting the intention and asking your higher self and your team to just scream so loud in my ears every day that I can't miss you. But you got to quiet your mind too. So a lot of meditation. The more meditation you do, because it quiets away your ego mind, and it allows your higher self voice to come through, and it allows your spirit team voices to come through. And it's really just getting that ego or that persona, that personality out of the way so you can hear from the real you. That's how you do it. I also have a course on my website if you guys want. I think it's really good. My higher self channeled it, had me teach it. I think Pyra, I think you were in the class, called Connecting to Your Higher Self. It was a 4-week class. I have it available on demand now on my website, wokelightworker.com. And it walks you through exactly like who your higher self is compared to your ego, like lots. I mean, it was 4 weeks full of stuff. And then I give you homework on how can you practice hearing from your higher self. Here's some things to help remove some of the junk that might be in the way so you can actually learn how to hear from your higher self. So it's the positive voice that's going to be talking to you. If you're hearing the critic, that's not your higher self. That is definitely not your higher self. So
it's always like emotionless to like higher vibrations.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Just literally so quick.
A little bit louder.
Also, when you meditate, the higher the frequencies, and just specifically like higher frequencies, like just some you find on YouTube, along with meditating or doing healing work and inner child work, and Theta Healing, and just all of it, the higher the frequencies that are being fueled into you, it's a much better, like it becomes the environment for your energy to learn through and to heal through and to experience through. And it's been super important to me, like such a difference when it's a different frequency rather than like a higher frequency rather than a lower one. So
yeah. And then you don't necessarily have to wonder, oh, am I hearing from my higher self? Am I hearing from my spirit team? Heather asked this question. It doesn't really matter. Until you really start getting to maybe be able to have some discernment of that, just be in the joy and the experience of just hearing from your team, and just call them your DT, your divine team,
whatever you want to call
your
them,
spirit team, your guides, your whole team, what do you call them again?
I call them my tribe.
My tribe, whatever. Just be in the joy and the experience of hearing from them, and
trust it.
Just trust it.
Trust.
Yeah.
Even, you may not learn half the things you're going to learn in 5 years, but just trust the process, and trust the inner knowing that you'll always have, that isn't pressuring you to go a different way, that isn't pressuring you with fear to try to do something or feel something or prove something. Just trust and trust. Just let go. Look up to the sky and let go, and take a deep breath over and over and over again, and be with the existence and nature of you. Life.
I'm going to give you guys some books. If you want some books that would really help. Well, actually, you know what? You can go, if you're on TikTok, you can go into my bio, and there's a link, and you can click on my list of recommended books. So if you don't catch any of these and write them down right away, just go into my TikTok bio. So at Woke Lightworker on my TikTok bio, and it's a list, or you can go to my website, wokelightworker.com, and then under my shop tab, there's a list of my recommended books. But some of them that would be really, really good for learning more about, like what Christopher said. He said he calls it narratives the world tells us to believe that we need to rewrite and affirm with self-love. He said, one of them is by Napoleon Hill, the guy who wrote Think and Grow Rich, and it's called Outwitting the Devil. And it is a really, really good book. So, really good book, Outwitting the Devil. And then another.
Say something about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
she wants to say something about that book.
Just Outwitting the Devil. Honestly, what it's gonna prove to you through a real story, a real life story that he wrote about, is that he just started hearing a voice, and he started just kind of knowing and being led along a path, and every time he tried to doubt it, his life just proved, why did you doubt it? Like, what are you proving? What? Just
It was his higher
trust.
self, yeah.
And he was hearing from his higher self, and it literally walked him to an edge of a cliff once, and walked him into a hotel to spend more money than he had, and all these crazy things. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. You just trust, and you let go, and you just move, and you just experience, and it's just going to prove that to you over and over and over again. A book like that, any book like that, just to trust, and just
it's
to
an
find
incredible
you.
it's an incredible story.
Yeah.
So again, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, and the other one is by Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. It's called Mastery of Self. His dad, I think it was, I can't remember if it was him or his dad, wrote the 4 Agreements, but it's the one called Mastery of Self. It is amazing, and it talks all about life being a play, and how we are completely programmed from the time we're born until now, and it's up to you to do the deprogramming. If you want to change your life, nobody says you have to. You can absolutely not change your life. You can continue to live and struggle through life, but again, suffering and struggle is a choice. But it gives you a different option. It's just a different way of thinking, but you have to do the work. No one's going to go inside your mind and change your thoughts and change your mind for you. You're the only one that can do it. Let's see if there's a couple more questions before we have to end.
And when they do,
how do you get to my bio? You click on the little picture that has me with, I actually have some angel wings, guys, and that's like real angel wings. They're not just in my bio picture. It's like a piece of my head, and then you can see some white angel wings if you click on that. And we're going to end here in a little bit, so you can click on that, or just find my profile under Woke Lightworker, and then you can click on my bio. But watch out, there's a lot of fake ones that spell their name kind of like mine, so go to my real bio, or you can just go to my website, wokelightworker.com, and then to find my list of recommended books, it's under my shop tab. So you can find my list of recommended books. I think I have like 53 books out there or something, and these are the ones that I have. A lot more than 53 books I've read for my journey, but it's the ones that I thought would be the most beneficial for people just kind of going on their spiritual journey. So let me see. How does one book a Theta Healing? Yeah, Heather, if you want to book an actual Theta Healing session, you can just message me through TikTok, or you can message me. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. Hey, girl, for the roses. She's always in my classes. You can actually just email me on my website. Email me at tracy@wokelightworker.com. And then we can get you on my schedule to book a Theta Healing session. But if you're interested in Theta Healing classes, I'm putting some classes together for either probably late summer. I got to figure it out yet, sometime this summer. And they happen over 4 weekends. So we'll get those all on the calendar and everything. But just email me if you're interested in taking Theta Healing classes or booking a Theta Healing session. But I will tell you something. Higher self hypnosis session, if you're able to visualize, a higher self hypnosis session is way more powerful and quicker because you're dealing with your higher self, and your higher self is just doing the healing and giving you the advice and the wisdom and everything.
And it won't stop there. Like, it gives you advice for the rest of your life.
Yeah, we get a lot. But what we can do in one 50-minute Theta Healing session, we can maybe work on 2 issues that you have going on in your life. And in a 50-minute, let's just say the same 50 minutes with higher self, we can work on 50 issues. So it's just a lot more thorough and quicker. But Theta Healing is what you want to learn for yourself to heal yourself now and going forward for the rest of your life. It is literally something you will use the rest of your life for healing. I can't even describe how incredible it is. But
It's necessary.
yeah, Kimberly, you've been so busy with work, you've missed us. Yeah, nice to see you. So Christopher said, life is like multiple choice that has no wrong answer. Lesson will play out regardless of your decision. Oh, thank you for the puffy heart, Kimberly. It is. Life is multiple choice. There is no right and there is no wrong. Because again, all of this is just a simulation and we're all just here. This is what Bentinho Massaro, I mentioned him earlier. He said, 2 things we get to get out of life. Oh, yeah. Thank you for the roses. So what Bentinho Massaro says is, we are here for 2 things. We get 2 things out of life. One of them is thank you for the rose, Kimberly. One of them is we get to learn lessons, that is what our soul wants. Our soul, that's literally the number 1 priority for our soul, is learning the lessons. So let's say we come here and we say, I want to learn patience, I want to learn self-love, and I want to learn forgiveness. You will be given lessons to learn forgiveness, which means you have to have people in your life to forgive, or how are you going to learn forgiveness? So you're going to get some rough situations because your soul wants to learn forgiveness in this lifetime. And then you want to learn self-love. Well, how do you learn self-love? Usually, because this is a planet of duality or opposites, you're going to learn it by not loving yourself. You're going to experience the opposite, and that's going to make you so miserable that hopefully you decide on a conscious level, like, yeah, that's not a way to live. Let me try the opposite. Let me try learning how to love myself.
And that goes along with forgiveness too. You don't forgive others, and that's always a stem from not forgiving yourself or not forgiving life itself onto you. And you just need to learn that you're safe to be able to just forgive, and you're gonna be safe once you do forgive. Like, there's nothing that's gonna attack you. And you're safe.
Yeah. And then the other thing that Bentinho says, in addition to learning lessons, that's why we come here, is the other one is just for like the element of surprise. We can just be surprised because we came through this veil of forgetfulness and we forgot everything. We know everything, right? You know what I mean? Like, we know all these people that we're meeting, like we've met them before, if they're a soul family or something like that. But we come through the veil of forgetfulness and we get to remember, and we have this element of surprise. And he said those 2 things make life worth living and everything else sucks. So you might as well jump in and learn your lessons and realize that you have to have teachers to learn your lessons. So if dad was abusive and you need to learn forgiveness, you had to have a teacher. And dad raised his hand and said, okay, I'll be the bad guy so you can learn forgiveness. So, but yeah, you're walking around angry and hating dad because he volunteered to be your teacher.
Because
and so,
how could they do that to you? But then realize that, wait, I feel like they shouldn't do that to me, and I feel so hurt because I know that I actually deserve to feel safe. And then just really jump into that and like swim in that. Like, I'm upset because I know that I deserve this, and I know that I should have this, and that I should be treated this way. And then take away the blaming of it, because in a moment they could say, shh, I'm just an angel, and I'm not actually just this man. But they don't, because it's just kind of more fun that way, I mean, they know they're an angel, so it's just taking away the blame and the lower part of it, and just realizing that you're only feeling like that, and you're only experiencing it because you're just remembering and relishing in the fact that you deserve and you're worthy of love. It's always that.
well said.
Yeah.
Gosh, guys, how did I get such an amazing daughter? I don't know. She picked me. She knows she did. I know she did. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Thank you, Kimberly, for the gummy bear. But yeah, so focus on those two things, the lessons that you're here to learn and master them. Because if you don't master them, you get to come back and do them again. So yay, setting up more repeats for you. Get to go to third grade twice. So your lessons, and then we have the element of surprise, and just be in joy when you get to be surprised and you have fun things happen, and just try to find the joy and the gratitude in life. It's all where your thoughts are at, and that's where I'm going to leave it at. Is it's all where your thoughts are at. You choose your thoughts. No one else chooses your thoughts for you, and you can choose positive thoughts, high frequency thoughts, or you can dwell in the beliefs and the lack and the doubt and the disbelief and being connected to all the negativity out there, or you can shut all that off, go into your meditation and start communing with yourself, with your soul, with your higher self, with your spirit team, and really just looking inward for that. And if you want help with that, I mean, I do higher self hypnosis. I mean, a lot of you on here have had it already, or have been in my Theta Healing classes before. And so you know what's available to you out there, but for those of you who don't, it's being able to just, well, we look at a past life, we look at what you do in between lives, but then you channel your higher self, and I'll teach you how to do that. But you can also watch some of my sessions to see how I do it on my YouTube channel under Woke Lightworker, the name Woke Lightworker. I have sessions posted out there. But that's a way to get answers to all your questions. How do I get over this? How do I heal this? What's my purpose? What are the main things I can do to improve my life right now? What can I do? What does my body most want from me? Why do I have money problems? Why did I choose the mom I did, the dad I did? Anything like that. Am I holding trauma from other lives? I mean, just any kind of question you can think of. I want to talk to my grandma on the other side. We do that. You can talk to your pet on the other side. You can do that. You can talk to your current pets and find out, do they like their food? That's a funny question, people. Does my pet like their food?
Do they have any health problems?
Do they have any health problems? Yeah, your higher self can do a scan of their body, and what do they need? What kind of help can you give them? You can give yourself physical healing from your higher self too. People come all the time and they have cancer and things like that. Like, why did I create cancer? What's the point in that? And what can I do? And do I need this medication or that medication? Anxiety, anything. So it's pretty endless of what you can actually do for real. But I have a lot of classes on my website too, guys. So check it out. I have several free ones out there. And create a life you want to live. And then don't forget to look at my recommended book list. It's in my bio, or you can go to my website, wokelightworker.com. And then my classes can be found on wokelightworker.com. I have several free ones. Like I said, there's one, Overcoming Fear. If you haven't seen that one, that's my latest one. I thought it was pretty great and pretty amazing. And then I also have an accompanying free meditation that I wrote and recorded to help you feel safe and to help you feel at peace. And you can find that on my website and on my YouTube channel. So I think that's about it. Do you want to leave them with any other thoughts or anything like that before we end it for the night?
Just that, everything we said was really important, and you're just gonna kind of be proving that over and over and over. And it's not about anything other than what it is, and that goes a long way, even though it doesn't make much sense. It's just all about what it is and what it was always meant to be, and you deserve it. You deserve to find life and yourself and joy, and you're gonna find it one way or another. And the end times are coming, and it's gonna be an ascension, and honestly, you don't have to worry about how you're getting there or why you get there, but just the fact that you deserve to, and that every one of you that chooses to is. And your life has led you here for a reason, and it will lead you everywhere you go for a reason. So just trust your beauty and your adventure and your exploration and your perfect, amazing journey.
Yeah.
You deserve it. You're worthy, you're loved, you're safe, you're purposeful, you're fulfilled, and you're worthy. And
And you're whole and complete. You just forgot.
Yeah.
You've forgotten that you are whole.
You're amazing.
And you are complete. Really quickly, I want to answer Christopher's question. He said, what do you tell your clients who think paranormal stuff is spooky? I don't really have a lot of clients who think paranormal stuff is spooky.
Can I say
people
something at
people
the
who
end?
come to me are pretty they pretty much know know the kind of think the way, you know, in the whole spiritual realm. Look at this cool necklace I have. I got this. I went to the Conscious Life Expo in LA, and this is the Arcturian. It looks like everyone's like, is that the Freemason thing? It's like, no, this is actually the Arcturian extraterrestrial race symbol. So
That's supposedly her family, like, or
my
she
ET
chooses.
family is the Arcturians. So I love this. I love, 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 love this. Yeah, what were you gonna say when I said about the paranormal?
What I was gonna say is I'm, especially the more uncovering that like, the more I uncovered and the more I found myself much more uncomfortable, much more resistant to that energy, and that's okay. Like, sometimes I'll be very just trusting and in flow with it, but I will be in a white complete shield and casket, and it will be happening around me, and I just cannot handle that. I'll cover my eyes, I'll cover my ears, and I won't listen to it. I'll cry sometimes because it's me releasing the fear, and I can't anymore. I used to love horror movies. I will never watch a horror movie again. And so, being scared of the paranormal stuff or not like wanting to interfere with that, that's amazing. Like, why should you have to? It's low energies that are stuck in horrible environment and energy. You don't need
Well,
that.
I don't know if you mean, Christopher,
Oh,
if you mean paranormal as in just like spiritual woo-woo stuff, but
maybe.
yeah, I wasn't sure exactly where,
I
but
hear
anyway.
paranormal, I think scary.
Yeah, she
And
thinks you meant scary,
yeah,
but
and also it's important to tune into your body and not hold any expectations for yourself, but just know that it knows what it's doing, and it loves you, and it's constantly loving you and working towards you, and you just deserve to be with it and trust it, and yeah, work with your body.
yeah. So anyway, you guys, if you want, check out, this is my daughter Cherish. She's awesome. She's on fire. She's amazing. She needs to have her own platform. If you guys think she needs to start her own TikTok, tell her. I think she should start her own TikTok and do her own teaching because she's so amazing.
I will be there when you see me. It will be in person.
Thank you, Kimberly.
In about 10 years, you will see me in person, okay? So
we'll see.
just get ready, okay?
I think she's amazing. But anyway, check out my website, wokelightworker.com. I've got free stuff out there. Guys, I've got a class out there. If you want to start your own spiritual business, I have a class out there called Starting Your Own Spiritual, I think it's Your Own Spiritual Healing Business is my webinar that I did. I've got the Overcoming Fear class out there that's free. Creating a Life You Want to Live, it's free. For a small amount is my class Connecting to Your Higher Self. And then my class Spiritual Boot Camp. If you're newer to spirituality, that is everything I wish I would have known when I first woke up spiritually, and I threw it all into a 4-part class. It was a 4-week class that I did. That I highly recommend if you're newer to spirituality. It's going to answer a lot of questions. And then out on my website too is information and a free webinar about Theta Healing. If you want to learn more about that, you can book a free consultation call with me. If you want to talk about higher self hypnosis, I've got a less expensive version, and then I've got my regular price version. So you guys can look at that, schedule a call. I'll talk with you for 15 minutes, find out if it would be a good fit for you. We can get you on my calendar. We can do it days, evenings, doesn't matter. And also my recommended book list you can find in my TikTok bio, and you can get links to everything in my bio, or you can go to my website under the shop tab to find my recommended reading list. So I hope you guys got something out of this. I'd love to hear if you guys want to just shoot me an email and just say hi. It's Tracy at wokelightworker.com. I love to hear from you guys. Want to say goodnight?
Yeah, good night and sleep well. Have an amazing rest and have an amazing day tomorrow. You deserve it. You're worthy and loved unconditionally and irrevocably. And what was I gonna say? If I forget, it's for a
And
reason.
she loves me.
Yeah, I do. Oh, and
Thank you, Kimberly.
And also, ask your team, like, just ask them to take you on a beautiful journey of life. Don't try to force away from your original path, but just ask them, like, seriously, like, I'm ready. Like, I want this to happen. It may be weird and I'll forget that I asked, but take me on a beautiful journey. Take me on a crazy journey. Awaken me. Bring me back to myself. Please, like, let me be just completely transformed.
Mhm.
Like, whatever you want to, think of it like an angel or a spiritual ET, or like a phoenix, or like a bird, or like a water goddess or god, or like a anything, just trust and just ask to literally just be brought on a journey.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you all for being here on Linda. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. You're awesome. I love you. I miss you. Okay, guys. I hope you all have a great night. If you missed any of this, you can catch the replay on my YouTube channel under the live tab. It'll be on there shortly, okay? Kimberly, I appreciate you. Thank you for the roses and the other gifts. You're so amazing. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Good night. Sleep well.
I'm trying to end it here on YouTube and it's not, it's not going.